welcome back to my channel, The Sugar Sean. I'm back for another video, and welcome back to another letter that was sent to me from one of you. If you're brand new to my channel, you may not know, but I'm actually a life and dating coach and the author of 3 books. The first one's called The Dating Game, How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. My second book, Breaking the Man Code, The Key to Unlocking His Heart, and my third book, Getting Unstuck, How to Create the Life You've Always Wanted to Live. They're all available on Amazon, Kindle, BarnesandNoble.com, but I also upload like lifestyle content, fashion-related content, commentary, a little bit of everything. So if you like variety, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and make sure you hit that little bell. That way you'll be notified every single time I upload a video. And if you want to work with me as your personal life and dating coach, or if you'd like to submit a letter for a chance to possibly have it featured in an upcoming video, send me an email to itscoachshawn@gmail.com. That's itscoachshawn, SHAWN @gmail.com. All right, so now without any further ado, let's get started with today's letter. Let's go get him. Hi, Coach Sean. I'm in a bit of a mess and I need some guidance. I'm now a single mom of a 4-year-old son, still healing from the madness of a messy divorce almost 2 years ago. My ex-husband and I were married for almost a decade. I had the privilege of having his financial support, and I also had the support of my mom, my grandparents on the days that he couldn't make the cut. We lost affection and love for each other very early on in our marriage, risking threats of divorce since the very beginning. We definitely taken breaks, so I would fly back to my family and take advantage of some time away from him, until he'd email me apologizing, and we'd work things out again and again. Soon we found out that we were pregnant with our son. Our marriage kept on crumbling further to the point that we had to live separately, and we were on the verge of getting a divorce a couple of years ago. He moved out and would come to visit our son while still paying the bills, and everything worked out fine. It was going great until I found out that he had been dating someone else, so we were separated. The threat of another woman would affect my son and I's finances, so I didn't want to live separately in different homes anymore. So I tried to make things work out with him after confronting her that he was married to me. I would try to make love to him, and he welcomed it at first, but then he would push me away and kept on trying to avoid me. Our divorce was final, and he stayed with the new girl until they eventually got married. So when I found out after seeing a social media post because he had blocked me, I decided to take our son and move out of state with the child support money that he had been paying me for the past year. I wanted him to regret his decision and come back home, but instead he revoked all contact that I had with him, and which was only email at that point, and I haven't spoken to him since. I have some legal issues against me now, but he hasn't seen our son in almost a year and hasn't been in touch with me either since. I can't believe that he would be such a deadbeat and avoid all his responsibility because of his new life. Help. Okay, now there is a lot that I want to talk about in your letter, but you know, I'm going to talk about him, but I really got to talk about you as well. I think you're going to be a little bit surprised by the things that I'm going to say, but I have to be honest, and you already know that I'm blunt. Let's start off with him. Is he a bad guy for, cultivating and starting a new relationship while still married to you? Yes. Some people think that it's okay because you guys were separated, but I still believe that if you're still married, you shouldn't be dating other people. Even though you guys have tossed around the idea of divorce throughout your marriage, you said from the very beginning, I still think your husband should have waited before he allowed himself to pursue somebody else and get feelings for somebody else. I feel like he should have waited and did it correctly. Okay, so he was wrong about that. He is wrong for not reaching out to you, not being concerned about his son for a whole year. He is a bad guy for all of those things. He does not get a pass. But I also have to talk about you, and I think this is the part that's going to somewhat surprise you. You didn't even want this man. You didn't want him, and you don't want him. And that's from using your own words. You said in your letter, from the very beginning of your marriage, there was no love, there was no affection, and you guys have been tossing around the idea of divorce for years now. You said that you had moved into a separate place, and he was taking care of the bills, and he was living separately, and you said in your letter, everything was going great. You said that a couple of times, like we were separated, living on our own, and things were going great. I feel like you don't really want your husband. You don't even miss your husband. I think you miss the financial stability of having him take care of you and your son. Because you even said in your own words, when I found out that he was dating somebody else, I realized that would affect my son and I's finances. You weren't even trying to get with him or reconcile or, work on your marriage. As long as he was paying the bills, you were fine until you heard about the other woman and you thought about your money. You thought that she was going to interfere with your bag. And that's when all of a sudden you tried to work things out. And that's when you said, you know what? We shouldn't be living in separate places. That's when you tried to seduce your own husband. And you said it was working in the beginning, and eventually he would push you away. I think think he started pushing you away because he started to feel like he was cheating on the other girl. That was your indication that he was starting to have serious feelings for her, because how is having sex with his own wife make him feel like he's cheating on someone? That's when the feelings for her really began to grow. But I feel like the main thing in this letter, he's a bad guy for not being in touch with you. He's a bad guy for abandoning you and your son. But I also feel like you don't want him. You didn't and you don't now. Don't mistake missing the stability of a husband for you missing your husband. You were fine not talking to this man. You were fine living separately. You were fine as long as he was paying the bills. You missed the stability. So I feel like what I think you should do is to pray and ask God to take away any residual feelings that you have, to help you to forgive him, and also to put him on child support. You said that you were initially getting child support until he cut off all contact. You can put him on child support again. This isn't about the two of you anymore. He's already went on, divorced you, and remarried the other woman. The whole idea of you two getting back together is not going to work. And then what would you want to get back together for? The relationship sounded like it was doomed from the very beginning. It sounded like you guys were never happy. You sound like you had routinely, like you said in the very beginning, we would get into a fight and I would fly back home. I would enjoy the time away for a little while until he would email me and apologize and I would come back. So it sounds like you did that for a while. I think he got tired of chasing you. I think he probably thought, when we're married, we're going to be in this together, and you kept running away from him. He is still a bad guy. I want to make that clear, because I know people are going to say, oh, but it sounds like you're taking his side. I'm really not. But I think it's really important to let the writer know that you're not blameless in this. If you're this man's wife, not girlfriend, but wife, why would you run away to your parents' house every time the two of you had problems? The Bible says, for this reason a man shall leave his mother and his father's house and cleave to his wife. You also should have been cleaving to your husband. You running away from your issues in your marriage didn't help anything. You were perfectly fine living separately. I think the two of you thought of marriage in a different way. You thought, hey, I married him. He's mine now. He's mine now. He's mine forever. He's going to keep paying these bills. He's going to keep taking care of me. He's going to keep providing for me because I'm his wife and we're married now. And he wasn't thinking like you were thinking. This man was thinking, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. My wife isn't trying. She's happy living separately. Because it doesn't sound like you tried. It sounded like you liked him chasing you. And nobody wants to feel like they're still chasing you once you're already married. Like, marriage means I caught you, okay? We caught together, okay? But you still playing hard to get with your own husband. I don't think that he expected it to be that much work. So I want to make it clear that although I do believe that he was wrong for what he did and how he did it and what he continues to do by not keeping in touch, I also feel like you have to acknowledge your role in where you are. You didn't even want him until you heard that he had somebody else. You don't want him. You were happy living the way that you guys were living. I think that what you should do is you should pray and ask God to take away all of the hurt and the pain that you both caused each other. It sounds like the love has been gone. You said that yourself in your own letter. Early on in the marriage, the love and the affection was gone. So it was like it was a relationship that went on for way too long. And then you tried to call his bluff by moving you and the son to another state, hoping he would come back. Like, I feel like you played a lot of games throughout this marriage, and you're not being real or honest with yourself about that. From the way that you described your letter, especially early on, you said you would always up and leave. You guys had this routine about you leave, and he would chase you, and you enjoyed the time away. He's a bad guy for moving on. He's a bad guy for abandoning you and abandoning your son. All of that is true. But what's still true, and what's true at the same time, is that you didn't try that hard in this marriage. You only cared about this man when you heard he had a new girl, and you said you thought it was going to interfere with you and your son's finances. So then you tried to make it work. And then you were like, okay, I guess. But you said everything was going great when we were living separately. That's how you wanted. He just didn't want that kind of life. You were fine settling for that kind of life. You were fine settling for, I live over here with my son and my husband lives over there and he takes care of all the things here. He didn't want that kind of life for himself. He wanted an actual marriage. Your husband should have waited until the divorce was final before he moved on and pursued another woman. He should have communicated with you despite you moving to another state. He should have stayed in communication with his son. It is a horrible thing that he would be so upset with you that he would also ignore his son for an entire year. He missed out on an entire year of your child's life. Horrible for that. Horrible. And nothing that he could do can excuse that. You need to go down to the courthouse like you've already done before and put him on child support. It's not about the two of you getting back together. That ship has sailed. Was your husband wrong for what he did and how he did it? Absolutely. But if you never take responsibility for your role in how your marriage fell apart, you will never learn, you will never heal, and you will never grow.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the future. There's something else I wanted to add to this letter. For the writer, I understand that this is hard. You never expected to be here. When you stood in front of God and family and friends and you promised your undying love to your husband, you didn't expect to be divorced. You didn't expect to be a single mom. And mourning the loss of a marriage is like mourning the loss of somebody who passed away. You go through the 5 stages of grief. There's denial, there's anger, bargaining, depression, and eventually acceptance. And that's what I pray for you, that you accept it. If you're honest with yourself, like you were honest in this letter, the marriage has been over. You never once mentioned, not even one time throughout this entire letter, that you loved your husband. I think what you actually miss is the lifestyle. And I think that that's what you miss, but I don't think you miss him. You weren't happy in the marriage. It doesn't sound like you're happy outside the marriage. I think it's important for you to realize that maybe it wasn't him. Maybe there's something in you that's not making you happy. That's what needs to be addressed. And you got to stop running. You got to stop running away from things as soon as they're uncomfortable. Every time you had a problem in your marriage, you ran to your parents. And when you found out that he was dating somebody else, you ran to another state. You got to stop running as your default move. That's a part of why the marriage didn't work. And I know you don't want to hear that. I know that part is tough to hear because you just want to blame him. He's the one who moved on. He's the one who got another woman. He's the one who remarried. All that's true. But while you were in that marriage, you ran a couple of times. And that wasn't healthy for the marriage either. That's the part that's going to burn your chest. It's going to be tough to hear. You're going to be mad at me for saying it, but somebody has to tell you the truth. It's not all on him. He's not the only reason why the marriage failed. You have to be real with yourself and really understand why it is that you run every time there's a situation that is difficult for you. Now, you could learn the lesson and still lose the man. Like, you may not get him back. He's already married to another woman and living his life, but that still doesn't change the fact that you still need to learn this lesson that relationship was designed to teach you. Until you learn it, the next relationship and the relationship after that, it will keep presenting itself until you master it. Learn why it is that your instinct is to run. That's what you need to be getting to the bottom of.
All right, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to thumbs up if you did. If you want to hear more of my thoughts and opinions on life and love, consider purchasing one of my books. As I said in the beginning, I've written 3, okay? First one's called The Dating Game, How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. Second book, Breaking the Man Code, The Key to Unlocking His Heart. And my third book, Getting Unstuck, How to Create the Life You've Always Wanted to Live. They're all available on Amazon, Kindle, BarnesandNoble.com. Check the link below if you guys want to check out any of my books. And if you want to work with me as your personal life and dating coach, or if you'd like to submit a letter for a chance to possibly have it featured in an upcoming video, send me an email to itscoachshawn@gmail.com. That's itscoachshawn, SHAWN @gmail.com. If you like this video, you'll love my last one. So I'll do you a favor and I'll link it for you right here. Be sure to subscribe right here. Till next time, later divas and dudes. This is Honey.